Hola, fellow Sapiens. This is your host, Sentient Sapien, and this video is about environment, spirituality, and collective consciousness. It's 6:30 in the morning, and this is the best time when you can connect to the nature. I've been going through a lot of emotional disturbances and other things, and it's been a long time since I've posted any sort of content. So I was reading this book called Earth Wisdom by Glennie Kindred, and I came across a lot of content from here, which I'm going to read today. And it's going to talk about the environment itself, how are we to connect with the environment since in this recent time of outbreak and everything, we've all had time for introspections and to connect with ourselves. So I thought of sharing it with all of you. So here it goes. This is the first chapter called We Are the Change. Here it goes. Our planet Earth is a wonder. When we are touched by nature, we are lifted out of time, beyond our everyday lives, to a place of inner stillness, wonder, and oneness with life. We become part of the invisible unity that holds all life together. The most profound and yet the simplest experiences pass through our brains to touch our hearts. This is a simple truth. The more we allow the beauty of nature and acts of natural goodness to touch our hearts, the more deeply we celebrate our natural spiritual connection to life. Earlier civilizations the world over understood the essential utility of life and respected everything on earth as a part of an integrated whole. The earth was seen to be an intelligent living being. In the Celtic lands of British Isle and Northern Europe, she was revered as a life-giving goddess, providing us with all five essential elements for life's evolution: clean air to breathe, pure water, fertile earth, transforming fire and spirit, the element which connects us to the invisible web of life. Our beautiful earth has given us all so much to be thankful for. Our gratitude helps us to connect to the spiritual souls at the very core of our being. It is fueled by love and respect for the earth and for all the peoples, all creatures, and each and every perfect microsystems. It brings awareness that we do not live separately from nature. The earth is our life's blood. Each breath we take depends upon her, and now also on us, for we need to help the earth to restore clean air, clean water, and balanced ecosystem throughout the world. This is each and every person's basic birthright and responsibility. We are at a critical time in the history of the earth. We are emerging as a global community, and we are all part of shaping the future that we want for ourselves and for future generations. We are all responsible for creating a new future based on culture of peace, universal human rights, economic justice, and respect for all life on earth. Page 7 of the same chapter. It is time for all of us to make changes about how we live our lives and to follow a path of the heart. By following our intuition and inspiration, we encourage our own acts of heartfelt genius and boldness. This makes us feel alive and vital. It gives us a great purpose and harnesses parts of ourselves we may have neglected or didn't even know we had. We no longer feel overwhelmed by the way the earth's resources are managed, but recognize that change is in our hands, yours and mine, the hands of ordinary, extraordinary people whom have made a leap in understanding and are determined to make a difference. We become part of the change by becoming part of the solution. As ethical consumers, we have great power to change the world economy from a power over institution to one which supports local community, local produce, the life enhancing production of goods, fairly traded goods, cooperative recycled products, food which is free of harmful chemicals, pesticides, or genetic modification, and products that do not harm the earth. On a basic level, we are the consumers that the great commercial wheel serves. Our every purchase increases the availability of that product. So if you believe that it is wrong to exploit the men, women, and children of the poorer countries, then as far as you can, buy fairly traded products. Your action then increases the availability of these products and support a system that is generating goodwill and fairness. If you are against GM food, then buy organic foods and increase the availability of food we can trust. This in turn supports small farmers and the availability of local produce and create less demand for the agrochemicals that are destroying the balance of nature. Money is a kind of energy. Every single thing that our money buys supports that product. It supports the way that product was made, the people who were involved in making it, and unless it was produced by a cooperative or was fairly managed, it supports the person at the top who makes the most money. Consume less, consume consciously, with awareness of how each product came to you. Live the life you feel good to live. Become the person you're proud to be. Every individual, organization, business, and institution has a unique part to play. Once we reach critical mass, the gathering momentum will ensure that the Earth's future is safe. In other words, once what you're talking about is creating a utopia, but any utopia only remains a utopia unless it's not mass followed by the mass itself. Once it is followed and is enacted and implemented by the mass population of the world, it no more remains a utopia. Now, I'm going to move on to the spirituality now, which is going to be page 9. Yes. All right. Spirituality. Spirituality is moving from a conviction or belief to a lived reality that brings a heartfelt reverence and respect for all of life and all of the people of the earth. Grassroots spirituality is going out of our needs and the needs of the earth. It is not being imposed on us. We are creating it ourselves. It is evolving and it is changing as our inner understanding grows. We are being guided by our inner wisdom, our integrity, our institutions, and the wisdom of the earth. We trust ourselves to do what is right with instinctive sureness. It is the power of the heart, of love, compassion, forgiveness, tolerance, sharing, and gratitude. It is not complex or elaborate. It is very simple. All the great spiritual teachers from all the world's religion have told us the same thing. We must find our hearts, then we'll find our true way. Spirituality is not a religion. It is a journey and an inner connection. For some of us, it is a natural part of our way of being and living. But for others, it sometimes takes a crisis to bring changes of outlook and lifestyle. Illness, for example, can be viewed as a positive experience, an open door that invites us to change. We can take the opportunity to leave behind our old patterns and embrace new ways to live and relate. But why wait for a crisis? By becoming more committed to our own spiritual journey, a whole new world opens up for us. Each of us has the power to change. It is up to each of us to live with this possibility and to inspire others to make that shift in perception. The changes we make on the inside have far reaching repercussions in the outer world. Harmony on the inside creates harmony on the outside, and it is reflected in all we do. A necessary working part of our whole self is our intuition. This faculty is inherent in all of us. We have been encouraged not to trust it, and yet it is an essential lifeline, a vital asset. For too long, we have neglected to appreciate it. The gift is life given, but blocked by decades of fear, mistrust, and lack of use. If you are not used to acting on your intuition, you often barely notice when you have an insight and disregard it. This happens to a lot of us, and it happens to me a lot as well. Yet, how often, in hindsight, do you wish you had acted on that flash of intuition? Despite centuries of social taboo, our sixth sense remain as bright and accessible as ever. We only have to acknowledge it. It is there, and it is at our service, as it was, as it always has been an integral part of our whole self. Experiencing deep, heartfelt connections to the earth will bring us closer to understanding ourselves and trusting our intuition. It will help us to foster a sense of belonging and love for the earth and all peoples of the earth. In other words, becoming a global citizen. To live in harmony with the earth, we need to remember our connections to her. This book is dedicated to rediscovering and reawakening the journey of love, respect for the awesome wonder that is our earth. In our heart, in our hearts, we then feel true inhabitants of our wonderful, unique planet. We feel connected on all levels of our being. We rediscovered the sacred in ourselves and in all that surrounds us. Moving on to chapter 2, page 26. Yep. So this is about communicating with the nature, and one most common aspect of nature are the trees themselves. We are surrounded by them. So this book tells us how to communicate with a tree, and was inspiring because this actually made me feel that if we connect to the nature the way and we apply this teaching on that, we are going to connect to every organism, and we have the possibility of actually embracing the feelings and of every living being on earth, and we won't be the way we are right now. Communicating with trees. Opening ourselves to the wisdom of the trees is to experience the interconnectedness of all things. By getting to know trees and communicating with them on a spiritual level, we are getting to know ourselves. If you're drawn towards a tree, then make the time to slow down and make contact with it. Approach slowly, feeling how you can reach out to another being without words. Open your heart to the tree in loving gratitude for its beautiful presence and gifts, moving slowly towards it. Stop when you feel you should and wait until you feel that it is the right moment to move closer. You may feel it is right to circle the tree at a distance, moving sunwise to indicate you are a part of the natural order. You may find yourself spiraling slowly in towards the center. Picture the trees having several layers of energy and see if you can feel yourself moving through these as you get closer to the tree. The final layer is within its bark as you reach out to the energy at the heart of the tree. Making physical contact with the tree by resting your brow or your spine against its trunk, or by sitting next to it or putting your arms around it. Do whatever feels natural at the time. Slowly drop your energy from your head and take it right down into the earth. Feel yourself developing a strong root system and becoming anchored to the earth. In this way, you become more in tune with the energy of the tree. Feel the stability you gain from forming a strong root system. Let the energy of the earth flow through you, giving you nourishment, stillness, and a strong center. Stay connected in this way until you feel the moment has changed, and then ask the tree if you share its wisdom. Meditate with the tree until you feel complete, and then thank the tree for sharing itself with you before slowly making a move. If you would like to cut a staff or wand from the tree, ask out loud or send a thought message to it. Wait to feel a response. Most trees are totally generous with their wood, especially if it is for any spiritual use. Trees are intrinsically a generous tribe, and the more we learn to appreciate them, the easier it becomes to form links and friendship with them. We must, however, slow down considerably, allowing them to register our presence and our wish to communicate. With trees, we should never be rushed or expect them to rush. We have to learn how to listen and how to drop our energy into theirs. Each species of tree has its own particular overall energy pattern. Within this, individual trees also have their own personalities. Trees communicate. They do not like to be ignored and would rather we communicate back. The old tales advise us to leave a gift for the tree. I feel that our love and gratitude is the gift that trees really appreciate, but we can also be of service to them by making a pledge to protect them. This might include political action, eco activism, protecting trees, as well as growing and planting them wherever we can. We can also be of service to individual trees by watering young trees in dry weather and cleaning rubbish from around them. Many small copses and woods are used for dumping rubbish. But we can help to preserve them as places of beauty and spiritual renewal, places of sanctuary in which nature and wildlife can flourish. After spending time with a tree, make an offering at its base by creating a pattern of mandala, a circular pattern, out of the leaves, seeds, stones, and twigs you find there. As you create it, link to the spirit of the tree and the spirit of the land. Sing to them, open your heart in loving gratitude. Now, there is a term, it's called sacred grove, which specifically means that the circular space that you find when in a space where like a group of trees that have been grown in a circular motion, and you can see the sky when you stand at the center and in between that circle, and it forms a flow of airflow system. It's a way of resonating the earth. It can be used for meditation. It can be used for a lot of other things as well. So I'm gonna go and explain what that is, and I'm gonna read it out to you. A sacred grove is a special place to gather, to be with the spirit of the nature, and to connect to your own spirituality. It consists of a group of trees, normally in a circle with an open space in the middle. Groves are open to the elements and to the sky so that we experience nature all around us. They provide a community space for ceremonies to celebrate the seasonal flow of the earth's cycle, and for personal space for contemplation and ritual. In the past, a sacred grove would have consisted only of native trees, chosen for their special energies and wisdom: oak, hazel, rowan, holly, yew, elder, crab, apple, alder, hawthorn, blackthorn, silver, birk, willow, and ash. The arrangements, location, and numbers of trees would vary, but there would have been a deep connection to the spirit of the place through the earth energies present. It may that these sacred groves weren't planted at all, but were thinned from self-seeded trees that were already growing on a special site. If you have land or woodland, you could create your own sacred grove. Tune into the spirit of the land and the trees and follow an intuitive path to find the best place for this special site. Consider the atmosphere, how a particular spot makes you feel. Check this out with other people who know the land. As well as this, there are practical consideration of privacy and ease of access, especially for wheelchairs. Consider how the land drains in the winter and avoid areas likely to become waterlogged and muddy. Groves are best when their use is integrated into daily life, and for this reason, they should be located within a walking distance of a house or a communal building. It's so much of an expression that is there that it connects to our daily life, that how we can just connect with the nature by just following these patterns and these cycles, and embrace our own selves and ourselves, because meditation and following a certain form of ritual, it just makes you to have an identification, as well as it makes you to have a connection within your own emotions and your own self, the inner self. We have lost contact with that in the most obvious ways, with the way our lives have been shaped with the modern era, and the way we move into this modern era, and the social conditioning that we have been that has been embedded into us, and the way we just look at it. So to break that pattern, this is the correct time to do it, and this is the way to do it. There are books and there is a lot of content that is available out there. I started practicing sustainability and connecting with the environment and nature for this very special interest that I have. That whenever I went or was a part of nature, it made me feel so closer to my own self and my own being, that I just never wanted to leave that place. Whenever I go to a place where there is a stream or mountains and forest or just a few plants out there, I always imagine having a house by building it right there, a small minimal based house, and just living my life there, closer to that nature, and just like work and write and whatever I want to do from there, just by being closer to the mountains, to the beach, to that stream, to harness water and energy and consume food, grow food right there. It's a perception that I have. It's an imagination that I have. It's a dream that I have, and this is how I want to live. Oh, moving on to the next category, which is the final category, and it's about collective consciousness. So I'm going to read out chapter 1, which is We Are the Change, page 4. We are developing a new awareness of our global responsibility and our connections to the earth and to each other. We are becoming aware of ourselves as we. This is a new evolutionary shift in consciousness. More and more people are identifying with this new we, this new sense of belonging to the global whole. We are moving towards sustainable systems that are life enhancing and self renewing. We are developing new industries that supports the earth and industries that are in harmony with the natural order and nature's wisdom. There is much in our world that does not follow this path. Anyone who cares deeply about the earth and her people can become caught up in anger, resentment, great sadness. Our inability to stop the ruthless control of those in power creates circles of despair and powerlessness in our hearts. This is the us and them mentality that has kept us fragmented for many generations. When we become the collective we become a community of like mind, united in common heartfelt resolve. We inspire each other to believe that another world is possible. We become part of the change of heart. We are the people we are waiting for. We are the people who care, who dare to question and dare to stand up for the earth. We have a profound respect and compassion for the earth and for all of life. We know in our hearts what is good and what is right. We follow our hearts and seek positive solutions based on love, basic goodness, and common sense, supporting this change in our community. Be the change you want to see happen, Mahatma Gandhi said that. Change, changes of hearts work by focusing on where we put our yes. Once we begin to live and work from a heart centered reality, supporting and following our every yes, the waves of our positive actions spread and ripple through the whole of our intricate web of life. We discovered the most profound potential. The smallest of actions, our actions today affect future generations and have far reaching repercussions, creating ever widening circles of positive change. We are no longer living in isolated communities. We are no longer ignorant of the fact. We are each responsible for our own actions based on informed choices. The choice we make in our personal life will affect and shape the bigger picture. By every act of personal beauty and loving response, by every act that is life enhancing, we make a difference to the world. Our starting point is our immediate surrounding, our community, our friends and family, our work, our businesses, and our power as consumers to support the products and businesses we wish to prosper. By our positive actions and acts of hope, we inspire others to embrace our collective power and discover the profound potential of our collective identity. Once this is fully understood, we become different people. We learn to follow our hearts as well as our heads, doing what we know is right, trusting our intuition, and becoming more fully integrated individuals. This is the inner evolution of we consciousness. This place of integrated understanding is not imposed on us from the outside, but created from the inside. We live as individuals, but feel and understand our connections to the whole of life. We become the individuals within the collective. Every single thing we do makes a difference. We no longer see the earth as something that serves us, but begin to see how we can be of service to the earth. This is a simple but a major shift in consciousness that is necessary for the earth's survival. So that's about it. Let's just made me feel really emotional at the same time, because I've always believed in the unison of the world at large, surpassing boundaries, this travel boundaries, restrictions among the people, this notion of preconceived discriminations and preconceived ideas that the one race or one specific community or civilization is better than the other has what made these differences in ourselves, and it has made the world a place of hell for all of us. Collective consciousness, this channel is all about in embracing ourselves and embracing this unison that we have. As a sentient sapien, it is, I want people to feel what it is like to become a sentient human being, a sentient sapien, someone who can embrace the differences of others, embrace their diversity, follow different cultures, religion. There is no one specific religion to follow. There is no one specific. You don't even need a religion to follow anything. For sustainable development, grow your own food, grow your own things, learn a new skill. If you smoke, just grow tobacco to yourself, and just there's like plethora of content on growing wine. I can give you that. You just need 21 days to actually produce wine in your own home-based wine. If you really like to drink it, just do whatever it feels like to connect to the nature, to this earth, and to the fellow beings that are there, that are all apart. We are in it. We need to protect and those animals that and all the living organisms that live on this planet. We are the change. We are what we are. So I would like to end this video with this spiritual word of wisdom that I heard and read about. It's called Antar Jyoti Bahana, and it translates into, the literal translation is the inner light manifest. It's taken from an Indian manuscript, and it directs our energy of the intuition that we have in ourselves and the inner desire and the inner light of guidance that we have in ourselves. There is a meditation, you can meditate with this word, you can recite this word as much as you like. There is a video on a guided meditation with this word that is in the info of this video. And if you want, you can use that. It's a 7-minute guided meditation with Antar Jyoti Bahana. And I hope you like that, and I hope you like this content. There will be more coming up on a lot of different other topics. I'm going to make the intro that I talked about in previous videos as well. It's on its way. It's going to come probably this time soon, probably by the end of this week or something. And there will be other contents that are going to come as well. So I hope you have a beautiful day and a night whatsoever, wherever this video is being viewed, in whatever region, whatever time zone, and all of that. So with that, I'm signing off. Ciao, Sapiens.